Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty and the 2.0 update. And yes, I did just release a Cyberpunk 2077 review mere weeks before they overhauled the whole game. Definitely a masterful gambit. But hey, the game was good before. Is it better now? And is the DLC good too? Let's dive into it. Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty DLC came out around the same time as what is said to be the last big update for the game, and both make dramatic changes to the game that I want to cover. So let's hit the DLC first. Phantom Liberty takes place in the lawless Dog Town, a zone cut off from the rest of Night City and run by the various gangs that inhabit it. When the president of the NUS's plane crash lands in Dogtown, you're enlisted by a netrunner to try and save her. As you can imagine, there's a whole host of twists and complex political interactions that lead to this incident, and you'll be teaming up with Solomon Reed, played by Idris Elba, to get to the bottom of it. Story-wise, there is quite a bit here, with multiple endings to the DLC and tons of small choices having ripple effects through the whole experience, much like the main game. The writing is excellent, and it being more bite-sized works well when compared to the sprawling main story. Mechanically, there's only one core thing gated if you don't have the DLC, which is relic powers. This is a new small skill tree that can add significant changes to your combat, from adding gunplay critical spots to augmenting melee weapons to do stuff like upload hacks. You can only get these upgrades by finding items in Dogtown, so it is gated to that DLC. Aside from the DLC, 2.0 adds so much I could talk for hours, so I'll spend most of my time on what I thought was the biggest change, which is progression. While your 5 core points do have skill trees still associated with them, they have been changed significantly. Stuff like flat damage upgrades or lesser perks have been removed, and instead most perks affect playstyle rather than just giving a boring boost. Additionally, the revamped skill system, where there's now 5 instead of the previous dozen, means you get less incremental upgrades and less perk points overall, but again, those perks are more impactful. Body augments are also different, as you now have a capacity that needs to be upgraded via the tech skill tree, and your armor's now tied to augments rather than the clothes you're wearing, so wear whatever you want. There's some minor stuff I'll mention as well. Hacking has been tweaked so enemies can trace you when you hack them, in an attempt to make it less busted. It's still busted. Melee combat is more fun with new toys and moves, and the new smart weapons that auto-trace bullets are really cool, and do mitigate some of the game's ho-hum shooting. So all in all, Phantom Liberty and 2.0 mark a significant change to the game's progression, but not its minute-to-minute gameplay, all with a bunch of new features and Idris Elba. So what do I like about Phantom Liberty and 2.0? Well, the Phantom Liberty story itself is great. I actually found it more engaging than the main story, thanks mostly to the brisker pace and incredibly engaging side quests. Additionally, I really do like this new zone, as we've seen glaring neon Night City, the desert outskirts of Night City, but a completely desolated Mad Max post-apocalyptic style of Cyberpunk is new and adds a ton of flavor. And lastly, the unspoken amazing feature of 2.0 for me is the improvements to the UX and UI. Gear pacing is better, leveling up feels better, the annoying phone UI is better. Basically, the game streamlined tons of the ho-hum systems into unified ones and removed all of the chafe. When it comes to the bad, unifying that progression system does take away a bit from Vanilla's near constant stream of upgrades. So a little bit of that power fantasy goes away as you get less skill points overall and less incremental upgrades. Additionally, Cyberpunk is still stupid easy with the right build, even when you crank it up to the highest difficulty. And lastly, this game still has a bunch of obnoxious bugs, with Dogtown itself suffering the most from me, and yeah, almost all the bugs I ran into involve vehicles. Be them not spawning in, me getting stuck in them, or whatever. This game just hates having its cars work. As you know, I rate games on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And I'm gonna say 2.0 feels like what Cyberpunk should have been at launch, in both its progression systems, new features, and streamlined mechanics, paired with the excellent, chunky Phantom Liberty DLC, and there's never been a better time to check this game out. Considering the game is still pretty cheap and the DLC is only $30, if you have any enjoyment of open world story-driven games, you should be playing Cyberpunk 2077 in 2023. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Cyberpunk before? Are you gonna roll a new character for 2.0? Please let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and then make sure you go out there and give Phantom Liberty a look.